All right. So some of the things that I noticed throughout your speech, um, so there's a couple things that I wanted to point out. So you said that one of the things you want to work on is planning, right? So one of the things that I noticed after you said that is that it sounded, after you gave the example of your final project last semester, it sounds to me like the part you need to practice the most, it's actually the physical practice of giving a speech and sounding it out. You also mentioned that uh, when you try to do that, the enunciation, you try to get less likes, less ums, less So what I found that helps me is that I make this ideal speech in like Word, a document, basically just an essay in which if my speech had to be something, ideally it would be that. So I try to say that like out loud again and again and again until I memorize it. So when I actually give the speech, I have like a track that I have. And so whenever I improvise already and build upon on something that I have memorized. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, it's you mentioned that you're good at making small adjustments and that you want to make large scale adjustment towards the audience. So to me, that ties back into the planning thing you said as well. There, I definitely agree that if you were to plan all that before, then that would definitely help you because you mentioned that if the audience doesn't know something that you say or that they don't like it or that you say something wrong, you need to be able to fix it. And that to me sounds like something you catch in the pre-production stage in the planning stages. So overall, I mean, I do think you are very focused on what you need to learn and practice to become a better speaker. So I think that you're on a pretty good track so far.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Okay. And regarding your speech, I really liked both your intro speech and like the mini speech goals you did right then. I
Thank you.
think that you're very good at, or like once you plan it, like you said, you have your ideal. You're very good. You can plan it out well. And you said that like you kind of put too much detail or kind of focus on everything to where it goes too long, and that you focus on making your speech shorter because usually it tends to go longer. For
Mhm.
me, I kind of, or what I do is my first thing is I just make a really quick, like 10-minute draft of what I'm doing, of like the bare bones. This is what I'm going to talk about, and kind of this is what I need, and then kind of add the details on afterwards. What it seems like you do is you go like as extensive as you can, and then kind of work your way down instead of trying to expand it.
Yeah.
So I mean, because it seemed to have worked for you, but I think it might be a little bit easier to kind of reverse that to where you work your way up with you you only do what you need, and then you only add the context as you need it.
Mm.
And honestly, besides that, I know you kind of said you want to work on a few other things, but to me personally, that's really the main thing. From like what I know from like what you just said right now, you're very good at planning. Like you know what you're gonna say, you had your notes down.
Yeah.
And so I think that honestly, you're very well set for what you need to do and for the rest of the class.
Great. Thank you, Kevin.